In 3, 2, 1.
Hey everyone, Steve Prescott here, coming to you live from REMAX Capitol Properties, Facebook Live. It's a foggy, kind of dreary day out there today, but we're live, we're excited, and so Steve Prescott here.
I'm Cherisa Applehunt.
And
we are, it feels like it's winter in the middle of June, but I'm excited to be here, kind of talk a little bit about the market, talk a little bit about Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
Some real estate questions. So we're excited to see kind of where this goes into.
A lot of content. If anyone knows me, when I do something like this, I wing it. I wing it all the time. And so it's not a bad thing, but I had some instructions here and some points and some notes. So it's really exciting for me to have all this content ready to go.
Yeah.
So I'm appreciative of you. So thank you.
Yes, of course.
So just going into a little bit of the market, I think what's interesting overall, the market has been pretty stable this year. I would say over the last couple weeks, things have softened quite a bit. We're seeing a lot more, a lot of listings that are not getting as much love, not as much showing activity in that. But overall, we have 365 active homes in the market right now. And our average days on market is 41 days. Now that's skewed a little bit by the, a lot of times we may have a property that's listed for a while and maybe we do a price reduction and we need to get a little bit more activity kind of plugged back into they broadcast the listings back out to buyers that are set up on auto searches. So a lot of times we'll relist a property to try to kind of rejuvenate it in the market. So that 41 days on market does not include, it's not a cumulative days on market. And so that's not probably that accurate, but that's what the data shows at this point. Our average list price is $435,000. Our average sold price is $430,000 year to date. So really not much of a drop off on sold prices compared to list. Right. So it's not dropping much. It is, the $430,000. We do have a lot of folks that come here and they're pretty surprised at the prices here in Cheyenne. And I think it depends on what you're coming from, what you're used to. But overall, it does feel a little bit high. But there's not much we can change with that. Buyers obviously pay what they're willing to pay and what's available out there. So we had, for year to date, 6 homes over $1 million, which was pretty interesting. The high was $1,319,000. So that has really started to change. Yeah, we never used to have anything over, I remember years ago when I got into business, if it was $400,000, it was a high price home. So anyway. So that's kind of a little bit of, what do you have? You had some stats too about the market.
Yeah, no, I just pulled some, I know we kind of talked today during our meeting a little bit where we're at. So I wanted to pull June's numbers today and last year. So last year for 2024, we sold 106, there was 161 homes sold. And so I just kind of like to see where we're sitting at. And today we still have the rest of the week. I have 2 closings this week. I know we have a couple closings, so it's going to kind of see where that's at. We're 127, so we're 34 houses difference from last year to this year. And I know we're ahead in REMAX right now off of what our goals were, right?
Yeah, from our goal from last year to this year, we had an increase of where we wanted to be and a goal. And so what's interesting there is I think we're finding a lot of micro markets. First of all, our spring market came into full swing for sure.
Oh, agreed.
And we had, May and June has been really great. But we have kind of these micro markets going on in the entire market. So we may have this $350,000 to $450,000 price range that's super active, and we're still seeing some multiple offers on things. So that's interesting. But you're right, it is a little slower overall for the 2 compared to the 2 years.
Yeah, but I also I see it a little bit changing back and forth in certain kind of like those markets, like you said, is some of them's moving really fast, and then there's a couple price points that I feel like it's sitting in and, having a little bit more days on market. But we had a good goal of wanting to be that 20% up, and that's super exciting to see. So I just kind of jotted those down, and super fun. I know that year to date for 2024, was at 813, but year to date for the market, we've sold 843. So, we're 30 houses ahead from last year. So I think just because it's June's a little behind doesn't mean it can't catch up on that.
The title companies are still super busy this week.
Yes.
We have a lot of closings still within REMAX, and so overall those numbers are going to be up for 2025.
I can see that.
So let's see. I have a list of things, and there's a lot to talk about. So that's kind of an overall market update. But you are going to be in Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting, nerve-wracking, all the things in one.
So how do you think they choose the people for Dancing with the Stars?
I honestly, I don't know. I asked all the questions. When we had a good meeting, I think it was 2 weeks ago when we decided, the agenda of who's going first to last. I got second, so I get to go second, which is, I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's not last and it's not first. So I think I'm right in the middle.
I don't think going first would be great.
Yeah.
I think that would be tough.
My best friend Carrie, she gets to go first.
Oh, she does?
Yeah,
okay. Well, I didn't mean to say that, Carrie. Sorry.
But we kind of learned, I asked a lot of questions of how do you decide? What does that look like? And, I was having a conversation with one of the members there, and she just shared with me that my name got brought up because I was in coaching. I have done a lot with the Boys and Girls Club before, where we've done the chili cook-off. Mm-hmm. I try to volunteer here and there. I personally have always loved the Boys and Girls Club. When I was 14, 15 years old in Rollins, when it first opened up, I was a team leader for all 4 years. I was able to get the Boys and Girls Club scholarship. So I kind of am thinking maybe it's just a full circle, but
it's a good fit.
Yeah, I think it was fun to be able to fundraise. Now the dancing part, it's a little scary.
Yeah.
So
have you started practicing?
Yeah, we've been practicing for, let's say, 4 weeks now. We practice 1 day a week. I figured I have 2 left feet. I'm an athlete. I played college volleyball. I have coached my whole life. You put me in a dancing room and tell me to do a certain way, and I'm doing the opposite. So I've been documenting every single practice, and little by little I'm getting better. But
so you record it?
I've recorded a lot of it. Yeah. So
That's
I'm
good.
hoping by the end of the practice time, I say season because of volleyball. The end of this, I'm hoping to do a fun, start to finish of how much growth I've had, or maybe not. Maybe I just learn the moves and it becomes a routine. So we'll see how that goes.
So you're excited about it, and you've started practicing. Is there a theme? Are you able to say the theme?
Yeah, the theme is going to be disco. So we are asking anyone that comes in. We're going to be dressed in disco. We're asking anyone that shows up to be able to also show up in disco.
So the people, the spectators to come
Yeah.
in, they go, okay, so dress up in disco.
You're going to dress up in disco stuff?
It's surprising, I actually have quite a bit of disco stuff.
I cannot wait to see that.
Yeah, I have some really high shoes that are really big platforms. They're pretty cool.
Now I hope those come out.
So, have you chosen your song?
Yeah, so I can't share that.
No, that's good. I'm just curious. That's a tough thing to do. It's hard to come up with what you want to do it to, right?
Yeah.
Or did you have a lot of were people giving you ideas? Did you already have something in your mind?
No,
Did Michelle, because Michelle is your dance partner, Michelle Ortiz, and So did you have a discussion about that, or how did it come up?
It's kind of a little bit of both. I think Michelle had an idea of what she wanted to do, and we kind of had great conversations. I know the song that we picked out. She came to me and had a couple ideas. I wanted a little faster, and so we found an option on a different, same song, a little bit faster. So we'll see how it goes. I have never heard this song until.
Oh, you have?
No. So, I've heard the chorus once or twice. So this is going to be all new to me.
Wow. Okay. Now, it's a lot of fun. It's you're going to have a great time.
Because you did this.
I did do it. I did it, I think it was 3 years ago.
Okay.
Something like that. So they've been doing this, I think this will be the 10th year for Dancing with the Stars through Boys and Girls Club. And it is a phenomenal fundraising event. Every year blows me away how much more money they make, which is phenomenal for Boys and Girls Club. It gets harder for the people like you, because you have to keep stepping it up and getting more money just to compete. So I think the year I did it, Michelle Dehoff was the big. She was bringing in so much money that I couldn't. She tripled what I was trying to get, what I ended up with. So it's amazing how much money they bring in. So you have to be on your game for fundraising, right?
Yes.
So you're starting, and you're what kind of, do you have anything planned specifically for fundraising? Or?
Yeah, I'm here to ask for some fundraising.
Oh, this is a great platform to ask for some fundraising.
I would love
this is good.
to be able to ask for some sponsors. So our biggest thing is being with, REMAX and representing and using the platform. We also want to come out and ask anyone that wants to come see the event. It's going to be on September 26th. It's going to be Friday at 5 o'clock at the Archer Complex. And you can buy a table, and there's different options for tables.
You have them here.
And so it's just that type A personality that comes through. So there is a title sponsor. We can and I can send this out to you. It comes with 2 tables, 10 tickets per table. Platinum sponsor, it comes with 1 table with 10 tickets. You get some additional ads, through the newspaper, and your name recognized. And all of these are different ways to be able to also be able to get your name out, as well as much as this is a fundraiser for the Boys and Girls Club. The biggest thing is we also want to make sure that we're also getting, if you, let's say REMAX Capitol Properties wants to buy a table, we are going to use that as to be able to get REMAX Capitol Properties out as well through advertisement through the Boys and Girls Club Southwest. So it's super cool. You have team sponsor, and then there's also table sponsors. So the biggest thing is we go out right now as celebrity dancers, and we go out and ask for you to buy a table. And depending on what that table is the price on, we can discuss what that looks like. But what's super nice is you can tell me kind of what you want with it. You want your, you want your sponsorship to be able to just be a small sponsorship for 10 people, no wine, no advertisement, we can do that. Or if you want it advertised, and while I'm up there, it goes off the list. There's different prices per those. So what's nice is this year they decided to do a QR code. And that QR code is linked 100% per dancer. And I will throw it in our on the live on the bottom, and then we'll send that out throughout. And all you have to do is just hit that QR code, fill it out. You can put in, how much you want to donate. If you're not sure how much the tables are, you can get a hold of me through Facebook. You can call me, and I'll get that also out to you guys. I can meet with you in person, but all of these sponsorships are, go right towards the individual dancer. So, which is super cool is, or if you just want to donate $1 is a vote. So that kind of goes into the People's Choice. Whoever raises the most amount gets that People's Choice Award.
So do you know the categories? Is it's like who wins the dancing?
Yep.
Right. There's a dancer that wins, or the group, and then is it individualized too for like how many votes you get?
So right now so you have the judges, and they do the dancing.
Right.
And then it goes to People's Choice, and that People's Choice is off of how much money you earn, because every dollar you earn, with even the sponsorships, go towards $1 per vote.
So I think that's changed a little bit from when I did it, because I believe like they seemed like they had different categories maybe, and maybe I'm wrong, but like if I had a $10,000 sponsorship, I think that went into a different bucket compared to like if someone was just putting in a donation for the dancing group. So maybe not. Maybe
I'm wrong too. We'll have to ask on that question.
Well, the big thing is you just got to give to give in your sponsorship.
Yeah, I agree. Donations. So don't be afraid to reach out to get to sponsor me. So right. I would love to be able to have that. So. But no, what was your guys' theme? What was that theme for you guys?
So let's see. I'm trying to think of the actual theme. I think it was like, for some reason, it was anything goes. Like you could choose any sort of music. Oh. And I don't know, I'd have to know, it makes me think back on that, why it was so open. But it wasn't one specific theme, because we had, I think, Michelle Dehoff, they kind of did a rap thing. We did kind of a... what is it, like a jock rock type thing?
Oh, okay.
And anyway, it was. I'll tell you this. It was very humbling. It was a very humbling experience for several reasons. One is I'm really competitive, so everything I do, I like to do to the best level I possibly can. And what was humbling was I would go through the learning and the practicing with Michelle, and it was like I thought something was wrong in my brain. Like, I thought, why can't I not remember these moves?
Oh, I know.
And then she's like, remember, you got to do this. And I'm like, well, I don't remember that. So then I'd video it. And I'm like, okay, I'll play it back. And then you try to practice it on your own. And that's hard. And you can't have your spouse or someone do it with you because they don't know the moves.
Yeah.
So it's a very humbling experience. And there's so much work that goes into it. I don't think anyone comes out of it going, that was a piece of cake.
No.
It is very hard. And so there's a lot on the line because you're trying to do the best job you can. And then you're trying to learn all the dance moves. You also want to be great for the Boys and Girls Club to raise money and raise funds for it. So you're trying to do that. It's a humbling experience. And it was, I can tell you this, when I was done with it, I was done. And it was like, thank goodness I'm done. So I think you'll have a lot to look forward to, and it'll go. But I think you're going to have that feeling when you're done. You're going to be like, "Thank goodness, now I can move on," because it's a big weight on your shoulders.
It is, and I'm such a perfectionist, and I'm a competitive person, and being a coach my whole life, being outside of high school, I was a coach, and so trying to, Michelle O'Haron is the same dancer you had, and that's who I have. She has 34 years of experience, and when she's teaching me these dance moves, and I'm like, I have 2 left feet. And I'm more of like an athletic stance. Like, you want me to shuffle? I can shuffle. You want me to do high knees? I can do high knees. But some of these other items that, she's teaching, I'm like, okay, we're going to have to learn that more than once.
Oh, yeah.
So, but it's
I
awesome.
apologize. That's right. Michelle, she got married to George. And so I'm sorry about that, Michelle. I said her previous name. So anyway, yeah, Michelle O'Hara. She's a wonderful instructor, and she's very patient, which is great to have some patience. Yes. Because there were so many times I'm like, I don't get it. She goes, well, let's do it again. And then she would say, when do you want to practice next? And so she was open. If I said, just once a week, she would have done that. Or more, it was like, I need 2-3 times a week. So,
yeah, she's been awesome. And we've been practicing at Act 2 Studios. Mm. So that's been really thankful. So shout out to Act 2 because they've done a really nice job. But no, I'm excited. We started looking for outfits, and that is my favorite to figure that out. I think I've ordered like 6.
Oh, gee.
But yeah, we'll see how that comes.
Mine was, if you can imagine, it was last minute.
Yeah.
Let me just get a shirt. So anyway, big difference there between the two.
Yeah, that might just be slight. So. And
I have to tell you, I said it was humbling. When you don't win, it was hard. It was a hard pill to swallow. And but I mean, everyone did fantastic. The other cool thing that was great was to the folks that you're in the competition with, the other dancers and then their dance instructors. You really become this pretty tight-knit group, and you don't even meet too much until right at the end when you have a couple practices right before it happens. And it feels like you've gone to war with these people, and you become this tight-knit group, and it was wonderful. And I just have some great relationships with people that we were competing against.
Yeah, there's some awesome celebrities this year. I mean, it's crazy because Carrie and I went to Dancing with the Stars last year, and she was joking around last year and said, we're going to be on that stage next year together. And I'm like, oh, no, we're not. Mm-hmm. And now we are. Now we are. And then Tate Bauman and I actually went to college, and we had speech, public speaking together. Mm. And it's so funny to see the full circle. And we have some great celebrities, and I just, I'm a competitive person. And so at heart, I want to poke fun at them and get a little tease, but I'm like, they're also my friends. But I'm excited to see what happens for sure.
Yeah, boy, it's a great event. It's going to be fun. What's the date again?
It's going to be on September 26th. It's Friday, and it's at 5 o'clock. The doors open up, and the theme is disco. So.
Good. Get it on our list.
Yeah. Well, now that we got the Boys and Girls Club and all the Dancing with the Stars, I have a couple questions on real estate questions for you.
Oh, great. Well,
so let's go back to something.
Let's go back to real estate.
Awesome. Okay. So first thing is I want to know what your thoughts are technology in the real estate. Like, tell me what, virtual tours, just kind of pick your brain on that.
Well, I think it's kind of hard to stay up on everything.
Yeah.
It's changing so fast. And here's why. For example, there was just a company that I saw that you can take your still photos. So you have regular just still photos of a home, and it puts them to a virtual tour, to a video. So it pans in and pans out and it moves around, and that's just from a still photographs. So that's changing. So virtual, like you had virtual tours down, that used to have you had to do a walkthrough or something like that. Well, now with AI, it's all becoming just this. It's just changing so fast. So I think it's great. The challenge is how people, I think, and agents are using AI right now.
Yes.
And I think for someone that's just kind of dabbling in it, they'll typically have maybe they'll have it like write a description. And I think for me, when I see them, just this is a personal opinion, and they're super long descriptions, and I just check out because it becomes a lot of just virtual or artificial intelligence blabber. Blabber's a tech term.
Yeah.
It's like all the words that are no one uses.
Yep.
We don't use these words in our conversations usually. So it's I'm not a big fan of that. I think the AI is very popular, and it's going to continue. People will just either embrace it fully or they just don't get into it. But it's changing. It's changing a lot of our real estate world.
I agree. And I also see too is when you think about looking at like the descriptions and what AI is able to do and, I look at it as like staging, right? So I've used it a couple times with a couple of my listings where I've taken a picture of a room and I said, how do we make this room better? And it's able to, I loved that because I'm over here trying to get everything out and they're asking what, my thoughts are. And I'm not a professional stager, and we have some in the office that I can send a picture to and they help. But that's really helped my business in a couple places. But I just was thinking, I definitely see it changing our industry for sure.
Yeah, and we're a non-disclosure state as far as home sale prices. So we have a lot of tools that people will look at, and maybe it's Zillow or Realtor.com or a lot of the listing portals that show what your estimated value should be on your property. And those are just not that accurate. And I think you can tell that because, they don't know our sold prices. They're trying to use some sort of matrix that's maybe it has outstanding mortgage balances, the assessed values, something that they try to combine those on, list prices, and then they try to make a guesstimate as far as what those values are. So even AI is not going to have access to that at this point. So I think that's going to be still a stumbling block. I've seen a lot of states and agents using AI for home valuation, and I think that's part of what that's part of our job is to come up with the value. And there's even been a lot of discussion about people should put their homes on the market and just kind of test the price out there. And in my opinion, that's where the value comes in with knowing where your price needs to be.
Well, like as a real estate agent, walking through the house, we've talked a lot lately, on the lives, is smelling the house, walking through it, seeing it, getting to know the seller of what updates have you done and what's that look like? And then let me go deep dive into the house that has sold within, around the area and compare that and let me advocate for you on that. So that's kind of, I was loving that part, and then my next question is the green building. So the eco-friendly, you talked last weekend about your eco-friendly house and it kind of strewed a couple of my, questions is there a market in Cheyenne that we need a green builder to come in and that does the eco-friendly houses?
That's interesting. Several years ago, there was a subdivision called Dakota Crossing, and there was a builder that was doing some pretty green, mostly energy rated homes. And what we found at that point was, I don't think our market was ready for it because it cost a lot more to build that home, and they were really efficient and they were so tight, but they cost more, and so the market just didn't seem to really support the values. So now maybe that's changed quite a bit. We still struggle a little bit with the solar of where people are on solar, and I think there's a true benefit in it that it's going to pay for a lot of your electricity in that. But the upfront cost is so extreme that it's pretty hard to recoup that unless you're going to stay there for 10 or 15, 20 years.
Or plan on taking it with you.
Which, who's going to do that?
Yeah.
So, and then there's a lot of people end up getting some financing on those solar panels, and then, they want the buyer to see if they could take that over, and buyers don't want to take that over, so they have to pay it off. And so, anyway, the solar part really hasn't come to fruition in our area. But like my sister lives in Las Vegas, and they have, electric cars, their air conditioning runs all the time. They pay really about $40 a month for everything. So that includes their gas, their air conditioning. So it makes sense out there.
It totally makes
Here, it just hasn't quite made as much sense. I'm not against it. It's just from a financial standpoint, it's pretty tough. But so we were talking about, and I went around.
No, you're good.
We were talking about like, because the home we looked at it's really cool. It has like all these smart switches and everything it's plugged into like Alexa or whatever. I'm not even that techie.
Yeah.
All the home services things that you can do, but like we're talking blinds go up and down and all sorts of things. So I think there's probably maybe a little bit of a market, but I just don't know how many people are into it.
Yeah. I know going through a house like that, I mean, that makes total sense, but I mean, my husband doesn't even know how to work a DVD player still.
Oh.
So, I mean,
well,
and so like me going into a smart house, it's more
hopefully
of
he doesn't watch this video.
Yeah, we won't tell him.
Okay,
he doesn't do Facebook
good.
either. But you think about, I mean, he was one is like, absolutely not. Like, I will just open the blinds and close it. He does not a fan. Now, my 2 daughters have a heyday with that.
So maybe it's more of an age thing, too.
Okay.
You know, I don't know. I don't know. I say older people don't even get on the internet, but there they are, and they're in Facebook and all the other stuff, so.
Yeah, no, it's good. So I just was just thinking that. But, you know, I think today was a great conversation and talking a little bit about what we are doing with the real estate and kind of with the market and, you know, some of those questions and stuff. And thanks for, you know, letting me come on and talk about the Boys and Girls Club and Dancing with the Stars.
Well, I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be great. And it'll be interesting to check in with you as time goes to see if it humbles you like it did me. Because I really felt not very smart. A lot of the time they're like, I cannot imagine, I'm not grasping this. So it's, and Michelle's probably, if she ever watches this, she'll probably be like, yeah, he couldn't grasp it.
That's probably where she's like, yeah, you guys are the same.
Yeah.
I got 2 challenges.
It is fun though to watch all the different competitors and what they come up with. And I think advice-wise, the only thing I would say, just being gone through that, is if there's something that's in your mind that you really want to do, or I think you really need to stick with it and perform that. Because if you try to change it, it just doesn't come out the way you are, and you're the one that you have to sell it.
Yeah.
So
my big personality is coming out.
Oh boy, good. To the song that we haven't heard yet.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll see how it goes.
That'll be good. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, that's it. We're coming to you live from Facebook Live from REMAX Capitol Properties. Hope you have a great week. It was a great conversation.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.